your weather authority.
Numerous tornadoes touching down across parts of central Oklahoma. At this point, more Oklahoma just south of Oklahoma City, very, very seriously affected and impacted by this very strong and dangerous tornado. Reports of an elementary school being severely damaged. Rescues going on right now. Radar right now shows we do have areas of supercells continuing to move across central Oklahoma from south central parts of that state, just east of Wichita Falls, now east of Oklahoma City, out toward the Tulsa area. We don't have any activity at this point across Arkansas, but that will likely change later on tonight. We do have a tornado watch that is in effect for northwest Arkansas until 10 o'clock tonight, and a slight risk of severe thunderstorms across most of northeast down to central and to southwest Arkansas. And it looks like we could see even more severe weather tomorrow. In addition to the severe weather threat, a flash flood watch in effect for northwest parts of the state. We could see some copious amounts of rainfall, even life-threatening flash floods. We're going to have all the details of what could be a very busy couple of days in the natural state. Your forecast first for Little Rock, a 20% chance of showers, maybe a thunderstorm through midnight, a 30% chance towards sunrise. We're going to start your Tuesday at 72 degrees. KARK 4 News at 5 starts now.
State Treasurer Martha Schaffner appears in front of a federal judge today following her arrest this weekend.
The citizens throughout the state of Arkansas deserve to be able to trust their public servants.
Find out exactly what charges she faces.
I think Martha Schaffner should resign. I think she should resign immediately.
Governor Beebe shocked by the allegations. We'll have his reaction. Plus, a body found in a river in northeast Arkansas confirmed to be that of a 14-year-old girl missing for more than 2 months. We're live in Walnut Ridge with the latest.
Now, from the station you count on for local news that matters, this is KARK 4 News at 5.
State Treasurer Martha Schaffner out of jail this evening, but not out of office, charged with accepting bribes in exchange for steering state business to an investment firm. Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight, everybody. I'm Bob Clausen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Dean. We have team coverage on this tonight. We will begin with KARK4's David Goins, who is live in front of the federal courthouse, where earlier today Schaffner said she's not ready to resign. David.
Yeah, Jessica, her exact quote, not at this time, but given the specific details of the allegations against her, it would appear very difficult for Martha Schaffner to be able to hold on to that office much longer.
State Treasurer Martha Schaffner, a free woman tonight, but not free from further scrutiny. Charged with accepting $36,000 in payments in exchange for steering a majority of state business towards one investment firm. According to the 8-page complaint released today, Schaffner began asking for payments in 2009 because she was broke and needed money for her Little Rock apartment. The payments, including 2 made at the state capitol, delivered in $6,000 sums in a pie box similar to this one. Schaffner leaving federal court today, not ready to resign.
Do you plan on resigning?
Excuse me, no, please. Not at this moment. Thank you.
You know, she has a right to presumption of innocence, as we all know, and she has a right to due process.
Defense attorney Chuck Banks expects a federal grand jury will indict his client next month.
And if she cannot properly perform her duties and responsibilities and still protect herself in a crime accusation, then to me it would be something for strong consideration.
Schaffner appeared before legislative audit last fall and told committee members she never accepted payments in exchange for steering investment business to St. Bernard Financial out of Russellville.
As alleged in our complaint, that testimony appears to be false.
And it appears Schaffner's troubles are far from over.
What do you want to say to people of Arkansas?
That I love them.
And according to that federal complaint, Schaffner first asked for a donation after a 2009 fundraiser at which this person allegedly gave her $4,700 for that fundraiser. It is according to the FBI that she used that $4,700 and pocketed instead. Now, there's been reaction throughout the entire state. We now join KARK4's Drew Petrimo live outside the state capitol with more on reactions from politicians, including Governor Mike Beebe. Good evening, Drew.
Hey, David. Well, the governor not mincing words today, calling for Martha Schaffner to resign immediately. Now, the governor had heard about Schaffner's arrest early Saturday afternoon, but wanted to wait until details of the case against her came out before commenting. Well, when the details of Schaffner's alleged extortion were released this morning, Beebe says he was shocked at how blatant Schaffner's alleged actions were.
It'd be very hard, in my opinion, for that office to properly function under her continued leadership. So I think she should resign. I think she should resign immediately.
Now, Governor Beebe says he already has started thinking about possible replacements over the weekend, but did not give any names. The governor joining a chorus of officials calling for Martha Schaffner's resignation. Democratic Party Chairman Will Bond said the party was shocked and disturbed by the allegations. State GOP Chair Doyle Webb saying his party is looking forward to finding a Republican to take that office in 2014. Obviously, there is a whole political component to the story, which we will follow very closely. David, let's go back to you.
Yep. Drew, a lot more to flush out with this one coming up at 6. We'll go a little more in depth as to why one person who is closely associated with Schaffner, the person who the federal government says gave her those payments, is not facing criminal charges himself. For now, we're live outside federal court. David Goins, KARK4 News.
And gentlemen, thank both of you. It has been a very busy day on that front, and we have more coverage of the hearing, including some of the key documents released in court. You can find the very latest on ArkansasMatters.com.
A body found in a river in Lawrence County over the weekend has been identified as a 14-year-old who disappeared back in March. Sydney Randall was reported missing March 9th. Her stepfather found dead just 1 day later from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. KARK4's Brittany Johnson has been following this story in depth for weeks. She is live in Walnut Ridge tonight with the latest and this tragic news, Brittany, that not the ending anybody wanted.
Certainly not the outcome they wanted, but that search, the long search for Sydney Randall, did end here Saturday after a fisherman discovered the body of a young female in the Black River near Old Davidsonville State Park. We're told that's about 10 miles away from where we are right now, which is the Walnut Ridge Police Department. We're also very, very close to Sydney Randall's family home. Police today did, in fact, confirm that that was her body in the river. Now the investigation into how she died continues. Crews have been searching all over Lawrence County for the missing Walnut Ridge teen for a little over 2 months now. She and her stepfather, John Cornell, both disappeared. Cornell was then named the lead suspect in Randall's disappearance after police found him dead in his truck from a reported self-inflicted gunshot wound. We now know that where he was found dead is about 5 miles away from where they found Sydney's body. Police then issued an Amber Alert for the young girl. Again, 2 months, no sight of Sydney until Saturday. The police chief described the reaction once he notified her family.
I feel like when they saw us pull up that they knew something was up, and you know, they were just devastated. You know, they're kind of like us. You know, we've been hoping for answers, but we wasn't actually hoping for that kind of answer, and that's kind of, I feel like, the way the family was, and you know, they knew at that point that all hope was over.
Again, certainly not the end they were all hoping for. We asked the police chief had they looked in that area of the Black River where they found Sydney, and he said that crews were out there. In fact, they were on boats using sonar technology to scan the surface or the bottom of that river. He said had they used dive teams, divers to actually go in the water, that might have made the difference in finding Sydney sooner. Live from the Walnut Ridge Police Department, Brittany Johnson, KARK4 News.
All right, Brittany, thank you. Fire marshals still trying to determine the cause of that massive fire last Thursday at Forest Place Apartments. They tell KARK because of the size of that fire and the damage it caused, it's going to take them some time before they're able to say exactly what happened, exactly what caused it. Some living at Forest Place suffered minor injuries during that emergency. And today, KARK4's Jocelyn Tovar met with a woman who suffered emotionally. Jocelyn?
Jessica, we all know how big a role a pet can play in a person's life, especially for the elderly, which is why one woman is helping her friend try and recover her 2 cats that were lost during this fire.
Way back that way and to the right.
Pam Cameron points out what's left of her apartment at Forest Place, a charred unit that's just below one of her friends.
I didn't have any friends in Little Rock either, so, I mean, she's done as much for me as I could have done for her.
A picture taken that day shows her and 83-year-old Betty Call. The 2 friends, lucky to both make it out, originally grew close because of their pets.
I would take my cat up to, you know, sort of play with her cats.
She has a cat on a leash.
Betty is now staying with family and says the fire turned her world upside down.
But I haven't been able to sleep, and I have 2 cats that I can't get hold of.
Sebastian and Sylvester hid during all the chaos.
Come on, get out, the firemen, you know. I don't know where they were hiding.
I was pretty broken up about them not getting out.
But Pam's not giving up. When she went by Betty's apartment, she saw them on the balcony.
They've been able to survive very well. I don't know how.
Unfortunately, she's been unable to catch them. The caution tape holding her back. Betty's family also trying everything they can. She's touched by everyone's efforts.
People are just wonderful. They're just wonderful.
There's still hope. Betty may not have lost everything.
Now, Pam says this also brings up an opportunity for an important reminder to have a plan in place for your pets if there's ever an emergency like this. Guys.
Jocelyn, thank you very much. We are your weather authority. Storms sweeping through the plains this evening. In fact, right now, the storms hit just south of Oklahoma City about an hour ago, leaving behind a trail of disaster, to say the least. Buildings flattened, elementary schools destroyed, kids inside. That system heading east toward Arkansas. Roads that are still not quite fully repaired in Benton County remain vulnerable. Tyler Thompson spoke with the road department there. He's joining us now live from Rogers with the very latest on what's happening up there. Hey, Tyler, how are you?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Up here in Benton County, northwest Arkansas, in this area there were quite a few flash floods, about 2 of them over the past several weeks, so there's a lot of damaged roads and bridges that crews are still working on. And I spoke with the Benton County Road Department, and they say that all it takes is about 4 or 5 inches of rain right now that could damage all of these roads and bridges that are being repaired or have already been repaired, because the ground is still saturated from the flash floods that we've already seen. Now, I also spoke more with road department officials who say that they've been watching this storm system since about Thursday. They actually had a meeting today with National Weather Service officials trying to stay prepared. They say crews will be on standby tonight, as well as equipment, and basically just on the lookout to get to areas if any repairs are needed as far as roads and bridges. Live in Benton County tonight for KARK4 News, I'm Tyler Thomas, and let's send it back to you guys.
All right, Tyler, thank you very much. Well, if you want to live outside the city limits of one town, you better pay up, because that's an ordinance that is being looked at. It's a proposal one city in central Arkansas says could actually keep money within the city itself. More on that ordinance coming up.
Plus, a happy homecoming this morning. Airmen back with their loved ones after serving months overseas. We will take you to that reunion.
And we finally did it here in Little Rock. Our high temperature made it to 90 this afternoon. Our low this morning, 73. Unfortunately, this unseasonably hot weather is coming ahead of a very strong storm system coming out of the central United States, and that could lead to severe weather across northwest Arkansas tonight and the rest of Arkansas late tonight and tomorrow. We'll have all the details in just a few minutes.
This is KARK 4 News at 5 in high definition with Bob Clausen, Jessica Dean, and Chief Meteorologist Keith Monahan.